dominance. But yeah, I think we'll see a bit more aggression from Stuart today.
Okay, well, here we go. Stuart looks in good form. He's rearing to go. Jack just keeping himself to himself. The silent assassin, they call him. So it's semi-final 2, part 2. MC Rob Walker is ready.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to this intriguing match between the first-time semi-finalist and the former champion, who between them knocked out both of this season's outstanding performers in the quarter-finals. And there's more to this match than just making the final, because the winner is guaranteed to finish this season in the world's top 16. Brilliant drama guaranteed on day 14 at the one and only Kazoo World Snooker Championship. Please welcome a player who has been a revelation over the last 2 years here. A great recovery from 3-0 down yesterday proves what an unflappable force he is in Sheffield. His victory over Trump must surely rank as one of the all-time great quarter-final upsets. Always calm, always composed, he's the giant killing machine, Jack Jones. His opponent. What a return to form for this brilliant break builder. After a very frustrating season, he's finishing with a flourish in Sheffield. He stood tall against Ronnie in the quarters and will believe he can rise again for title number 2. Give it up for the pride of Essex, Stuart Ballroom Bingham.
Well, Stuart holds huge affection from within the snooker fraternity. He's one of the game's true enthusiasts. But this young man, Jack Jones, tenacious, he's got a great temperament, wonderful talent. And everyone in Jack's Reds Snooker Club in Cumbrahan will be glued to events this afternoon. Hello to all of you there. Enjoy this. And Neil and John, enjoy it in the commentary box, fellas.
Yeah, thank you, Hazel.
Thank you. It's frame 9.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Jack Jones to break.
And big session this. One session this afternoon, and then the final 2 sessions of this match to be played tomorrow. So you could really say that this is moving day, and great to be joined for the first time in the commentary box by the 2010 champion of the world, Neil Robertson. So I'll make you feel at home, Neil, and say good eye.
Yeah, thank you very much, John. Covered this one last night in the studio, and yeah, Stuart, you know, missed a big chance to go 4-0, like we said before going out there, and it was one stage, John, where it looked like where Stuart was going to be pretty happy with 4-all, because Jack was coming back at him strong and Stuart was definitely falling away, and yeah, so I think 4-all was a pretty fair outcome in the end.
Yeah, I just felt that what I got from that first session was Jack Jones looked all at sea, was given that lifeline, as I say, and I was very impressed with him. You know, you wonder how people are going to take to the one-table situation here at the Crucible. But once he got those first frames on the scoreboard, he looked like he was really enjoying it. Oh, and that's a nice kiss.
Yeah, and that's the last thing you want as a seed, and as someone who has been in the one-table setup before, like Stuart has. Being 3-0 up, he wanted to press home that advantage, and if he could have gone into that mid-session interval at 4-0, then he could have, you know, really pushed on from there and kept Jack in his seat. And the fact that he let Jack back into it, he's kind of lost that advantage of the experience and needs to go again today from, you know, from a completely fresh start, and that's how he needs to approach it as well.
Quite a big target. Looks safe enough, but that yellow is a nice ball to aim for. Safety comes snooker. That's a perfection. Now then, I wonder, it was quite an easy escape for Stuart last time around, off the 2 cushions, but this time I think the brown is in the way of that natural 2 cushion escape. So a touch more difficult. Yeah, the brown's in the way.
And the red on the left-hand side of the pack is blocking the angle to hit the top cushion before going into the pack as well, off 2 cushions. So this is a pretty tough one for Stuart to try and work out here. Might be playing a 2 cushion escape and try and glance off one of the reds. He's played that well enough.
Yeah. It's not completely safe, but sometimes you just have to try, if you can, not to leave anything easy for your opponent. And he's done that. Problem with playing that shot was he left his red that's on the baulk line, and that just gives Stuart the chance now to gain the upper hand in this safety battle.
Yeah, he played that really well. Used the blue to cover the left side of the pack for, which would have been the easier escape. And now I'm not too sure if Jack can catch one of the edges of the 2 reds that's furthest out from the right-hand side of the pack. There may be a gap just to clip off one of the reds inside the pack and come through. Looks like he's playing one of the outside reds, so it's not too bad. But he's left a red over the hole here. Needs cover, flick from the brown. No. So first chance of Stuart here. See if he can get out for the blue because the black's covered by the red.
Yeah, it just shows you how quickly it can turn. Looked like Jack had the advantage in that safety exchange, but Stuart with the first chance.
1.
Tried to get round the back of the black. I can understand why, but that was difficult to find that gap.
1.
But it's one of those, when they're very close and just off straight, you play it with top spin, it sort of checks off the top cushion, so it would have been difficult to get back up for the blue.
Yeah, that's right, and that's why he opted to try and land on the black. If he felt he could have got comfortably on the blue further up the table, then I'm sure he would have played that. And yeah, like you say, when the red's that close to the
Stuart
pocket,
Bingham.
and especially on a new cloth as well for the semi-finals, there's a lot more grip from the cushions and much harder to get that kind of like that bounce that you need to get further up the table.
But you could see on Stuart's face when he sat down, he got first chance. He could only get the 1 point. Who will get the next one? Possible pot on here for Stuart. 2 reds that are together, both available into the right corner. You'd think the one on the right is the preferred choice.
One.
Well, not the best kiss. Only because the black has gone close to the green. So it's hard to see how you can pot the green and get back in amongst the reds. The blue's very thin. I don't think he can get through to the brown. He could play the green and play a screw shot and, in effect, screw back off the black. But he wouldn't have too much idea where the cue ball's going to finish. You could say a little unlucky. Well, we'd be happy with that. And not only that, he's knocked the black into a possible position.
4. Five.
Played that really well. It was very important to land right side of the black there so he could just stun down for this open red. And that's what I was alluding to earlier before the session started, that Stuart should take every opportunity to get the pack open as early as possible. And that's a really good sign for me, because he could have just floated the black in and come down for the loose red. But he decided that the angle was good enough on the black to try and get the reds open as early as possible. I felt yesterday he, in terms of his break building, he was just a little bit cautious, trying to be a little too perfect with the cue ball, try and pick the reds off, where Stuart's game is definitely to get the balls open, because once the balls are open, there's not many better in the world at compiling really big breaks. You know, as we saw against Ronnie O'Sullivan and in previous years here as well.
$18.
Especially when you're playing someone like Jack Jones, who is someone who's a bit more on the safety side of things in terms of his play style. So even if Stuart were to break down when all the reds are in the open, at least he can play a telling safety, which puts Jack's safety under pressure. I often find when you're playing those types of plays that it's important to really play the game on your terms. You want the frames to be over quickly. It's much more painful, I'm sure, for Stuart's point of view, losing some of those frames yesterday, John, where, you know, both players had a couple of chances, the balls went scrappy, 35-minute frames. That's not Stuart's game at all. He just wants to get a nice flow in the game and kill the frames off in one visit, which is certainly what he's going to be trying to do here.
Yeah, you've got to play to your own strengths. And I did say at the start of this match it was going to be a completely different game to the one he had with Ronnie, because Ronnie plays a very similar style. Now he's gone into them. Oh, and it's worked out nicely. When I say worked out nicely, it'd be even better if he could roll this red in play for the black, but he's brought all the reds he needs now into play. Be surprised if he doesn't make this a frame-winning visit now.
$33.
Yeah, and you made a really good point, because when you do play Ronnie O'Sullivan, you do know it's going to be an open game. But this is a completely different player that he's playing in Jack Jones, who's got a brilliant, brilliant safety game, incredibly patient. So then it's up to Stuart to change the narrative to the point where he needs to be the one who needs to up the tempo and, you know, create the narrative of having an open scoring game. And that's something that could be when you play a previous match when both players are really comfortable in the heavy scoring department, nice open frames. And then if you've got one player who's far more tactical and trying to keep things tight, you know, it's important to remember what your strengths are in the game that you're trying to play and impose your dominance on the game and how you want it to be. But this is a perfect start from Stuart.
$47.
looks to have a nice angle. Those two reds near the top cushion, he doesn't need them, but they just can get in the way, but he looks... No, he's perfect on the black. I always say, just a matter of interest, first time watching the snooker live, or even watching it on the television at home, if a player gets down quickly to play the shot, you can more or less bet that he's happy with the potting angle, as Stuart would be here.
55.
So this black, and one more red, and he'll be at the snookers required.
62. 63. $70. 71.
Well, I'll try to bring that other red
78.
away. It'll be interesting to see how he plays this. These pockets were playing pretty nippy in the early rounds.
79.
Well, that'd have gone in on any pocket. Just feather in the near jaw, but not enough to keep it out. Yeah, but he just lost his concentration. Put it all into the difficult shot, the easy one. Took his eye off the ball, but he won't be too unhappy. Won the first frame of this session. He leads 5-4.
And he looks positively.
Yeah, it's not even about the pace. It's about the shot selection. It's not so much about the pace, because Stuart's not that much faster than Jack, but it's about the shot selection, how the frame unfolds, getting the reds in the open. Listen, Jack can score as well, but he's obviously not as high a scorer as Stuart, so Stuart's got to try and play to his advantages.
I think it's testament to the respect with which they clearly see and have for this man, that there is a sort of abundance of caution when you start out against him, because we've seen exactly the damage that he can inflict here over the last couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he looks very calm, very composed, and just the manner in which he, even though he started off very edgy yesterday in his first session, but the manner in which he came back, that clearance to get his first frame on the board, and then the way he just surged, he dominated, you know, the session. And Stuart did well to get out of that session 4-all. So Stuart will have the utmost respect, because he would have kept an eye on the way Jack Jones has played. But he, as Stephen said, he has to be the aggressor of the two.
He does. And it's Jones who finds himself one frame behind as we go into frame 10. Remember, it's a new experience for this 30-year-old from Cumbraen, but he's holding himself together very well so far. Back we go.
Stuart Bingham getting the second frame of this second session underway. I think nowadays, every time you break off and don't leave a pot on, you're quite happy. Although having said that, can he get past the blue to pot this? Well, if he could, he didn't like the potting angle, and that's why he's played the containing safety. And just an incident like this, Neil, you know, you can get people playing safe at this end, but immediately Stuart needs to get this red back in play and just get a normal game going.
Yeah, absolutely. Even if you risk, you know, possibly leaving a long pot on or something like that, it's just so important not to get involved in those kinds of frames where both players are hitting the reds up towards bulk and, you know, the white on the cushion, and then, you know, after 10 or 15 minutes of safety, all the reds can be in the bulk end. And so it's good for Stuart to identify that and to just keep things flowing and play what you call like a standard safety exchange.
Good safety that, though, from Jack Jones. And if there isn't a safety shot down the left-hand side, which I don't think there is, If he goes down the right-hand side, those two reds near the right-hand side cushion, they look like big balls trying to get back to baulk.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying to swing the cue ball around here. Maybe get the white somewhere behind the yellow onto the cushion. This will be a very aggressive safety shot. Not quite enough side spin on the ball, but he'll be happy with that. And again, the signs are good. Stuart's opened up all the reds here, so whoever makes the first mistake, you know, the opponent will definitely be able to capitalise from the situation.
Never a good thing when you catch a baulk colour fullish as he has. May not have left anything, but as soon as you knock that yellow off its spot, you make it a target. And Stuart, with his hand on the table, he'll be looking to get in behind that yellow if he can. Well, that's the chance. Caught that much too thick. He'd be disappointed with that.
Now the green side becomes the side where you really want to get the cue ball, because those two reds on the side cushion there, on the right hand cushion, are like trapping balls. You want to use those strategically in your advantage. Jack's removing one of them now, but he will try and get the white in behind the green. Didn't quite catch it as thin as what he had hoped.
Yeah, and like Jack, I mean, last night his safety play, I mean, finding the baulk cushion was relentless. But that was a weak one. Now can Stuart play a good safety and get Jack in trouble? Needs to miss the green. Well, both players not the best safety shots, but look at that target now of yellow, green and brown.
Yeah, I've just put a little graphic there of a huge target now. The players can get the cue ball, which would snooker either play on all the reds, so a vital exchange coming up in terms of the safety. Using a lot of side to try and create the angle, because you didn't want to move too many of the reds there, Jack. So it'll be interesting to see which player can actually find that space to cover all the reds, because the reds are open quite nicely, so whoever can get the first chance here will have a really good chance to win the frame.
Hit the wrong ball, played the one above it thin, missed it, and that's why he caught the second red full. Yeah, this wasn't the red he was trying to hit, it was the one further up the table. So Stuart got the best of that safety exchange. Bump on the middle would help.
One.
He's not got it. Could have played that better. Okay, he's on the brown.
Stuart Bingham 1.
Well, he's missed it, but at first glance, he's not on a red. He didn't want to be digging down, which seemed to be the obvious way to play it. So it was more or less just making certain the brown, but he's not got position. But that target, yellow and green, still there, and being so close to the reds, you'd be surprised if he wasn't far away with this potential snooker. Well, looking to get in behind the brown. I never liked this shot because the pocket's so close, but I'll tell you what, it's a great effort, but just a fraction short.
Stuart would love to have a go at this red, but there's not really a great deal of value in it because he can't really get round the back of the reds and the black. There's a shot to nothing, and he'll be trusting to luck on the cannon on the red and the black. So he might be just playing it containing safety and leaving the cue ball in the corner of the pocket here.
Now then, I'll ask the question once again. What has he left? Well, it looks like a plant, but you don't see the gap between the two balls. I think they've red immediately to the left of the black. Yeah, that goes. He's now having a look at this plant, but there's a distance, so it's not a formality. The red to the left of the black, he can pot, but obviously feels he can't get position. So he's taking the plant. He'll be trying to get this cue ball back to the balk end. It wasn't straightforward, and if he was going to kiss the red and not get back up the balk end, I've got to say that was the wrong shot. Too risky.
One.
I think that was a classic case, Neil. If this was the second time he came to the table expecting a straightforward red on, and impatience, I think, got the better of him there.
Yeah, and that's one of his trademarks throughout the whole tournament. It has been his patience. He hasn't rushed anything, or he's played very few wrong shots for the whole tournament. So that was certainly a case of him maybe being a little bit desperate to try and create a chance out of nothing, and instead of buying himself one more shot. And we've seen that a couple of times already today.
Couldn't do much with the cue ball, but this red, that's closest to this right corner pocket, this is a good red to be getting rid of. For one, it will allow the black to go into this corner.
Seven.
And he played that nicely. Played with a lot of left-hand side, and he's landed perfect on the pink. Not certain where the pink will go when it's respotted, but it looks like a decent opportunity, this. All depends on where the pink goes and where the black will go when that's potted. Stuart sort of not looking too happy, but I think he's okay. I think those three reds we can see just above the pink. I'm sure the
13.
top one to the right-hand side pots. And if it does, he'll be on the black. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh, it doesn't pass the black. Well, that's a very bad misjudgment from Stuart. But he's recovered it. Now, how's the position? He's all right. He's on the green. One of these situations, just one pinpoint positional shot now. And it will be a great scoring opportunity. This cue ball's running loose.
17.
He's got a red to the left centre pocket. Not quite certain that's the red he played on, but he'll take it. Choice of reds. And this one is an important one because I think it clears the pink spot.
$18.
And when I say clears the pink spot, it'll be clearing it for the black probably.
$21.
All looks pretty congested, so it's hard for Neil and I in the commentary box to speculate on what's available, what isn't. But always I know he's perfect on this red. The black's in the clear.
22.
And the black obviously will go on the pink spot.
Yeah, it's fascinating watching players like Stuart break build, seeing his mind ticking over about how he wants to go about building the break, which reds he wants to pick off first. I think he's played this really nicely to land in between a little gap here, and then the pink may pass the red
29.
as well. So
Yeah, my
things starting
thoughts.
to open up.
Yeah, I think the pink must go the way he's played that.
30.
Yeah, he played that perfectly. So the frame becoming really open now. The key shot was earlier in the frame when he's played the red into the middle. A lot of players will play for the blue, and then once you land wrong side of the blue, that's when problems can happen. But Stuart played it nice and safe up for the green, because the green was always going to be a natural angle to come down for that red. And yeah, so this is like the art of break building, really thinking ahead, which ones are the key shots to
37.
open up the break. Because when he came to the table, this didn't really look like a great frame-winning chance, but he certainly turned it into one.
$43. $44.
That's okay.
50.
I assume he's okay. The fact that he's thinking about it, maybe he can't stun off the top cushion because of that red near the top cushion. So what's he going to play?
51.
Played a little cannon on the pink and played it delightfully. And that's the type of touch you need when you're in and around the pink and black spot.
$57.
There you go, just nudging the pink towards the opposite corner. Played delightfully. And this
58.
pink now, and that will be the second frame of this session in the bag. Frustrating afternoon so far for Jack Jones. And he went for a plant which was very, very risky. As though he felt, well, I'm entitled to be on something, but sometimes,
65.
as Neil said, you've got to show a little bit of patience.
And because Stuart's cue ball control has been so good during this break, his average shot time is skyrocketing, getting into the low 20s. He's already cut off a few seconds from his match shot time. And when you're in the balls like this, obviously just you're shuffling a positional play. You're only taking, well, in this shot here, it's like 5 or 6 seconds. So you really get into your rhythm, get into your flow, play how you would in practice. Really important that Stuart clears up here because, well, for me personally, I love making centuries, as does Stephen Hendry in the studio there. It just piles pressure on your opponent, you know, clearing up the colours, and you know the crowd loves seeing centuries as well. That's what they come here for, as well as the close frames and the great snooker being played. The crowd loves seeing a century, so it's really important that he clears up here, Stuart.
Well, the way he sort of got up and looked, he thought he'd overhit it. He has, but it's still doable. Is it going to drop? Is it going to drop? It does. Not been a century yet in this match. Nice break, 94.
98.
Well, I'm not going to say. I've never seen Stuart play left-handed.
You watch our misses.
Well, just the brown for the ton. We'll settle for the brown, Stuart. Don't worry about the blue. Well played. That's career century number 584. 102. He is a ton machine. Brilliant break. Worked hard early on, but once he got that pink and black into play, it was beautiful. Trying to, oh, look at that. No, he screwed back off the jaw, folks. No jelly pink. Unlucky. Playing it in the middle. Oh, it could be going in the corner, could it? No, not quite, but Lipton will settle for that. Beautiful break of 107 from Stuart Bingham. Risky shot played by Jack Jones with the plant, and he was punished. Never had another shot. Too clear, Stuart Bingham, 6-4.
Place.
He's dead right about the pockets. A new batch of tables. A lot of players
Thanks,
have been
gents.
refusing, but I think on this table, I was talking to Stuart up
Thank
in
you,
the
the 11th
Champions Lounge,
frame.
and he said that
Jack Jones.
this table, the pockets are a little bit more gibbish than they were when it was a two-table setup.
Okay, so now we ask, how will Jack Jones respond after that wonderful century? The first of this semi-final from Stuart Bingham.
Not the best break off. Not left a pot on, but didn't find the baulk cushion. Well, that's not a good reply from Stuart. Caught it much too thin. And he's left this red on. I think Jack will be able to get past the blue. So, a loose one from Stuart. Now then, Jack, type of shot you were knocking in last evening.
One.
Well, wipes its feet, but it dropped. But because it wiped its feet, hit it too thick. If it had hit it a bit more in the centre, it'd have been a little bit further away from the cushion. So the black's on, but tight to the cushion. Where's the next red come from? Well, he knew he was going to run into that red and was just hoping he pushed it into a potable position, which he has. But that cue ball close to the side cushion doesn't make it easy. Good pot though.
Nine.
Not an angle on any colour. Well, he can disturb the cluster, but he's got that one loose red that's sticking out. So he's got to play a very precise positional shot here, off yellow or green. Well, he decided rather than play the precise positional shot,
11.
he'd try and go into the cluster. Wasn't a natural angle for me, and the fact that he was having to force it to the side cushion was taking a lot of the pace out of the cue ball anyway. Just another sign. I think he's trying to make things happen.
Yeah, and he could have come down the left-hand side of the table for this red and just dropped it in and left a nice angle on the black. And like you say, the angle wasn't really there on the yellow to go into the side of the pack there.
Jack Jones, 11.
That's okay. The brown is covering the open red.
Foul and a miss. Stuart Bingham, 4.
Just crept past them. It was such an easy escape. I don't see the value in putting the balls back.
Yeah.
Well, he is doing. I bet he doesn't miss them this time.
Well, he'd like to think so, because if he does, he will be warned, because he can see one of these reds full ball. So maybe that's in Stuart's thinking, that if he misses it again, he'll be forced to play the much more difficult safety shot. And the black being where it is makes it far more difficult.
Yeah, I can see that now. Oh, and I'll tell you what, he's hit them, but has he nudged the red on? I think he has. Well, just dropped in. I'm looking at Stuart's body language. I don't think he's on this pink. That's all those years of sitting in the seat watching your opponent. You know, you look at his body language, knowing to see whether he's on something. I used to hate those players who used to get down and look, see whether they're on it, and get down and get down. And in the end, you thought, he can pot this.
Yeah, I remember Tony Drago telling me a funny story where he was playing somebody here and they went into the pack and sort of insinuated to the crowd they weren't on anything, walked around the table a few times, looked and ummed and ahed, and then
Bingham.
got down, knocked the red in and made 80. And Tony, of course, with the way he was, self-destructed in the chair. It was quite a funny story, absolutely. Yeah, certain players give a lot more away than others, and yeah, but Jack will be very, very grateful for the fact that that mistake only cost him 1 point.
Well, he's missed the baulk colours. He's just not got the pace of that cue ball. It seemed relentless last evening. He was getting tight to that baulk cushion. Just makes such a difference. Because when you're like this, if you need to swing it round with a bit of side, you can do. When you're tight on the cushion, there's so little of the cue ball to hit. But Stuart can pot this red. Oh, caught it much too thick. That's a mistake. But at the moment, it seems that every time Stuart does make a mistake, and that was a wide, he's leaving nothing. And Jack's getting more and more frustrated.
Yeah, hence the nickname Ball Run Bingham. I think Jack Lazowski is one who's trying to claim Stuart's title as the luckiest player on tour. But yeah, Stuart has made a couple of mistakes so far in this session, but has been fortunate a couple of times. And this is where it is really going to test Jack's patience, because over such a long match, you know, you're not going to have everything go your way. You're going to have sessions where things do seem like they're going against you, and that's where you really need to keep your composure. It's a long way to go in the match.
And that's what we say, of course, in these long matches. If there is a run on the ball, you hope that it will even out. And I mean, if you looked at it objectively, you'd say, well, I'd rather have to run of the ball near the end of the match than the beginning of the match. But that beginning of the match, then you start to lose your belief. All these things that go through your head. Well, he could get through to pot that. Now, what's he going to leave? Well, the red's gone towards the far right corner. I think Jack can get past the blue. Wasn't certain when he could get through to that red. He hit too much of it.
Yeah, I was watching Jack there. He came to the table sort of like nodding his head, sort of, you know, of course he didn't leave it on. So he just needs to be careful of that, because Stuart, with his experience, will be picking up on Jack's body language as well, and you don't want to give Stuart any encouragement whatsoever when he's in his chair.
One.
Wonderful shot. Came to the table disappointed, as Neil noticed that the fact that he couldn't get to an easier red, but that was a terrific pot. Stretching round the corner a little bit. It's one of them you'd rather play with your hand on the table than get out what we used to call the long tackle. But don't be overstretching that you miss the pot. Played it nicely and played it perfectly. Now, Jack, this is your first real chance of this session.
Nine.
Wow.
16.
He was asking a lot there. It was too straight, really, you would have thought. I know on these super fine cloths you can move the ball, but that was asking a lot. Now begs the question, why didn't he run round and sort of get middle of the table for this red he's playing now? It's tougher from here. It was tougher from there. And he had an opportunity to get closer to it.
16.
Now, can he have a bit of luck? Yes, he can. Well, even just nudging that blue off its spot has made the safety shot 10 times more difficult for Jack Jones. If the blue hadn't have been flicked off its spot, it's a straightforward off the right-hand side of the cluster. He can go down the left-hand side, but it's so much more difficult. You've got to avoid the pink, got to avoid the blue. Well, he did. Where's the cue ball going?
Foul. Stuart Bingham,
Well,
4.
he won't mind that. He won't mind that. He found the escape route.
Really good shot for that Stuart there, playing with so much side spin. A lot of left-hand side spin as he would have been seeing it. Jack trying to find the gap here between the black and the pack of the reds. Misses the browns, really good shot. Weight of the cue ball's very good also.
Yeah, terrific shot. Perfect line, perfect length. Another weak safety shot from Stuart. Not consistently, he's playing an odd one, but then every other one is not great, and he's left a chance on for Jack here. This red to the left corner. It's a half chance, but you feel it's one he needs to take. Right in the heart of the pocket. Cue ball needs to slow up. The runner finish near a cushion. He's okay. He's nicely on the blue. I mean, obviously he'd like to be straighter, but it's doable. Just pot the blue and stun off the top cushion. Couple of reds available.
Six.
Well, it's a little bit of decision he's got to make here. Just thinking, he might not want to play the black now. Do you think any value going up the table, trying to get an angle on the blue to cannon into the cluster? I know there's going to be one loose red, but he's going to have to get in them, and I don't see him getting in much out of pink and black.
Yeah, that's why he's gone up. The key is just to miss the pink, which he has, and he's absolutely perfect on the blue. And this is a pack where, as you're looking at it, it looks very hard to go wrong, especially if you catch this, the highest red, just slightly to the left of it as we see it. Because there's the left on the left side of the pack, which will sort of be pushed towards the lower left-hand corner, also help hold the cue ball as well. So just like a nice medium pace on this, doesn't have to hit it too hard. He's caught the wrong side, and that's why he's lost the cue ball, but a little bit fortunate he's still got the red that's
12.
just to the left of the black. But he would have liked to have played that shot a lot better.
$13.
Needs to slow up. He's okay. Looks like the green's going to be the ball, but shouldn't be a problem. When he went into those little cluster of reds, he didn't open them that well, because he, as Neil said, he didn't hit the first red full, but I think there may be one at the bottom of them that goes. He certainly got the red adjacent to the left corner. Well, he's deciding to go in, and I can't believe this is the right shot. Where's the cue ball going? No!
Jack Jones 13, Stuart Bingham 4.
Well, once again, I'm not certain about that choice of shot. I was asking a lot. I know he had a decent angle, but you'd have to put so much side on the cue ball. Anyway, it was his decision, and it's turned out to be the wrong one. Threw his arm at that one. I always feel with those type of shots, Neil, you need to cue them more than hit them hard, don't you?
Yeah, and that was a case of that there. He seemed to hit it hard rather than focus on just getting the timing right, because even the pink goes into the middle if he sort of stops short with the cue ball for the blue, and I never really liked that shot anyway. He was lining it up, looking at different angles of where he could put the white and the D.
1.
I would have been tempted to play a thick safety off the reds, open them up, and put Jack under a lot of pressure with his next safety shot, or forcing Jack to go for a long red there.
Anyway, he's been given a chance, and those awkward reds are in the open now. And that looks just about perfect. I'm not certain whether you think about playing for the pink here. I think if you can get a nice angle on the blue, you have more manoeuvrability for the cue ball. For those 3 reds in the middle of the table, which will be enough
5.
to get him over the line in this frame and put his first frame on the scoreboard this afternoon. So big visit now, this.
Ten.
Needs to
11.
run. He's short. Another couple of rolls of the cue ball in this frame look to be a formality. Not so now. There you see the match time, 4 hours. 4 enjoyable hours. So this is as close you could get to this red. Both of them, I think, pot.
16.
I mean, it's well within his range, but he knows it should have been easier. Full concentration on the pot. No. Just that poor positional shot on the blue. Sits down, got a 43-point lead, but there's still 59 remaining. Still a big favourite, Jack Jones, for this frame. But he's given Stuart Bingham a chance in it, which he shouldn't have had. So no prizes for guessing what he's going to try and do here. Well, that cue ball just ran a little bit further than I thought, but if he plays the blue, he's going to try and cannon those 2 reds. If he could hit the black into those 2 reds, even better. Could hit the black into the 2 reds. Well, he's got the reds in. Oh, well. Well, he's got a pot on. I thought he'd hit them perfect. But only brought 1 red into play. 37 points behind. 51 remaining.
7.
Good shot.
I just wonder if he's played for the pink here to leave himself a double. Yeah, he's having a look at it here to play the double on the red and bring the black into play as well. Very clever thinking there from Stuart. I'm sure he'd love to sub in John Higgins to play this shot. Never seen John miss a double before.
No, and Cliff
13.
Thorburn was a great doubler. Or in Canada they call them bank shots. But not there. He did what Neil suggested.
Stuart
Played
Bingham,
the can
13.
into the black. He missed the double. So Jack Jones back at the table, still with a 30-point advantage. That was a tentative, shall we say, pot on the red there. No reason not to play. If it had gone in, he was on the pink, and that would have put him in snookers required. How about that for a theatre, the atmosphere, the World Championship? Wonderful.
Played that very well, Stuart. He didn't want to play thicker off the red there because he would have got the double kiss. So that was a brilliant shot there to control the red he was playing as well. Jack will try to hit this one very, very thin. Dragging it with a lot of left-hand side. The issue with that is that sometimes when you push, put too much left-hand side on the ball against the nap there, the white will straighten up and sort of only move right. Where if he played that coming back the other way as the table, it would have come out more and he would have hit the red thinner.
So close, and he's left it. Green will not come to his rescue. So looking at the scoreboard, 30 points the lead. This red, blue or above to get to snookers required. And you can see where the other red is. He's got to try and get on the blue. Not easy. Needs to miss the yellow.
1.
Well, can he pot the blue? Can he pot the pink? He's got to go for one of them. It's to get to snookers required.
Yeah, he may have been tempted into maybe playing the brown or something like that if it was on, because then Stuart could only tie with the black. So the fact that the cannon didn't work out and he's basically forced into this pink. It's a free shot because he's not going to be leaving the red on or anything like that. So there's a lot less pressure on it now. Oh!
7.
There you go, you see. The luck can even out. What a fluke that was. Well wide. That's why it went in off the black. So now 37 points to lead, 35 remaining. Yeah, and it was the point we were making, Neil, wasn't it, when Stuart was having
Jack
that
Jones,
good
7.
run of the ball and Jack was coming to the table shaking his head and saying, what do you expect? Well, he can stop shaking his head for now.
Yeah, and like you say, it does always even out, especially in the longer matches. But only one snooker required, and the balls are in a really nice position.
Priority, if you feel as though you can't get the snooker, make certain you get the object ball safe. I think Jack can just get past the brown here. He's got to be careful with his cue ball, doesn't want to have it running loose and heading towards the pocket. Just the one snooker required, so Stuart, I'm not saying on this red, he'd pot the red, pot the black, and then try and get the snooker on the yellow. Particularly with that yellow being close to the brown. Although if this runs on and gets behind the pink, is he going to run? Not quite. So Jack, bearing what I've just said in mind, will be reluctant to leave him a pot on the last red. And if you can snooker your opponent who needs a snooker, even better. Big problem for this. I mean, normally you think, well, one or two cushion escape, right hand side cushion, left cushion. But the blue and pink come into play. If he's to keep his hopes alive in this frame, he's got to hit it.
Foul.
And that'll be
Jack
a concession.
Jones, 6.
Yeah, Stuart looks to Jack and says, that's good
Yeah.
if you want it. And
Frank can
Jack
see this.
obviously will
Jack
gratefully
Jones,
accept. He's got a frame on the board in the second session. Just one behind. 6-5, Stuart Bingham.
Darren, I was going to say, Darren Morgan probably says, yeah, you're really good, but let me talk about me for 2 hours.
Oh, you are.
Bit harsh.
Darren will be here next week, of course, for the World Series
Bingham to
Championship,
break.
which will be taking place here inside the Crucible Theatre. But to his protege, Jack Jones, he's only one behind this man, Stuart Bingham.
Mid-session interval after this frame. I think Stuart would be a little bit disappointed if they were to go into that mid-session all square. He's had opportunities and, well, apart from that last frame when Jack fluked the pink, he's had a fair run of the ball. So enough opportunities and chances to have a couple of frames advantage.
One.
What a shot that was. You couldn't hit a shot much better than that. You really couldn't.
He almost fluked it in the end, but I do actually
Jack
wonder on
Jones.
that long
One.
red that Jack knocked in there. I do wonder if he was actually attempting to play safe and just hit it thick and run the white down into the corner of the Seemed a very strange shot to sort of like take on, but I mean, if he did go for it, it was a great shot, but then to miss the pink is absolutely unforgivable. Just noticed as well at the end of the frame there, Jack going out for a bit of a composure break just to, you know, just add a few more minutes to since Stuart last potted a ball, and it's important now that Stuart, first opportunity, pick this this red off here, and then you'll want to leave one of the reds below the pack to then screw off the reds and really get the balls open. So he needs to change how that last frame went, get the balls open. Very important.
Nine.
Just managed to get that cue ball in and out of the reds. He's okay. Got a backspin. Yeah, played it well. These are the situations that Stuart excels in.
Stuart Bingham.
Unexpected miss. I know he was using the extension on his cue, slightly overstretching, but didn't expect him to miss it.
He's been a little fortunate there as well, because he was trying to make a slightly better cannon on the reds. He wanted to cannon the more sort of centrally into the pack to leave this red into the right-hand side pocket. But he's left Jack in a very tough situation, bridging over 2 or 3 balls here, and you know, he can't really do too much with the cue ball here. I guess the pink being close to the yellow pocket maybe makes this shot a little bit easier, but it still looks like he's trying to come out. That's a really good pot.
One.
If you can get through to the pink, it's probably not too bad. Black looks very tough. He'd like to play the black, get it back on its spot and screw up for the reds into the middle, but he's just having a look at it now. It is very, very tough, and to play it at pace is very difficult, as we've seen throughout this championship. So he's just having a look at the pink now and try and land on one of these 2 reds that are just above the pink spot, I think. Needs to hit the middle pocket jaw. Ooh, he'll take that.
Yeah. All day long he'll take that. That cue ball
7.
was going nowhere. A wry smile from Stuart.
Eight.
The cue ball looked like it was going to cling to the side cushion. The bump helped it out. He's on the blue. Could have been better on it, you would have thought. So there's 2 reds just below and to the left of the pink.
13.
One of them goes to the left corner, pot it, and stun into the one to the right, leave himself the pink in the middle. But you've got to get through the ball on these. Well, he's playing with topspin, so he's concentrating on the
14.
pot, going up for the blue, and I'll tell you what, that is absolutely A1.
Yeah, that was the most sweetly struck shot he has played in the match so far, and split the reds absolutely perfectly. Right side of the blue this time as well, which was nice. So now just a series of stun shots in and around the pink spot, and this is exactly where you want to be as a professional, with the frame at your mercy. Just little stuns in and around the pink spot, not moving the cue ball around very much at all. Stuart perhaps thinking, well, 2 things: the little cue ball hitting the jaw and for Jack to keep the break going, but also the fact he was in first. He did have a really good chance and missed that black stretching.
20.
Just about got the angle. Yeah, this was Stuart's black. He was thinner on it than was ideal. Just stretching slightly, just overcut it. Straight on this red.
25.
Jack will have nothing to do with the cue ball. He's down quick, so he must be straight enough.
26.
So 24 points to lead. Probably won't bother with the black now. He's got pink and blue
32.
to go for. And the reds he needs nicely open in the middle of the table.
33.
It'd be a huge surprise if he didn't take the frame at this visit now.
$39. $40. $46. $47.
Now, if he's too straight on the pink, I don't think there's a problem. I'm sure one of those two reds on the left-hand side. And yeah, he'll just drop it in. Yep, right in the heart of the pocket. Maybe the right-hand one didn't go, but certainly the left-hand one goes.
53.
So, 45 points to lead. This red and the pink would get him to snookers required. Just let the cue ball go a little bit. It shouldn't cause a problem. Didn't get into it as much as he would like. But this pink now to go 52 points in front with just 51 remaining. Nicely in, nicely on the ball that will keep Stuart firmly in his seat. Seems to have been the way in this match that most of the frames that have taken over 20 minutes have gone the way of Jack Jones. But this one is only in, well, just coming up to the 11th minute. But it just shows you, Neil, sometimes, isn't it? He missed a pick. He potted the, well, 67. Whether he potted the red intended to, but he missed the pink in the middle and wasn't punished. Well, it doesn't matter now. Stuart Bingham will concede. They'll go off for the mid-session interval. Once again, Stuart always seems to be in control, but he's got nothing to show for it. They're as you were, 6-all.
So here they come. Just waiting backstage for their cue once again. Marcel Eckhart, referee, just following them out. And here we go, another 4 frames to enjoy. Neil and John, we just can't separate them.
No, we can't, Hazel. And, yeah, just got the impression that Jack Jones was getting a little bit frustrated, but winning those last 2 frames before the mid-session interval, he'll feel a lot better within himself now, Neil.
Jack Jones to break.
Yeah, absolutely. And that session followed what we saw last night, where Stuart had a couple of frame lead, looking to push on, and Jack not quite looking comfortable, and Stuart making a couple of unforced errors which let back in. And I often find that It's always the person who makes a second unforced error in the frame that gets punished there the most, because Jack was in first in that last frame, missed the easy pink into the middle, giving Stuart a good chance, and then Stuart missed the black off the spot, stretching, and ultimately that was the one that cost him the frame.
Catching the green, and this red is on. He can get past the blue. If he knocks it in, the black available to the opposite corner. Decided to play the stone run through, but it was a half chance. Not taken.
Incredible to see that Jack's pot success at 84% in this session, and usually that would be nowhere near high enough to share 2-all in the 4 frames. And this is a pretty awkward frame now because there is a red up in bulk.
It's touching ball, just as red.
And Stuart missing the red in the middle, leaving it over the hole, so there's just nowhere safe towards the bulk end of the table. So now we get a situation here which will suit Jack. He will sort of look to just slow well, not necessarily slow things down, but he'll probably certainly have the tactical advantage in this sort of scenario. He is very, very good and doesn't get out-thought very often either, John.
No, absolutely. I always look at these situations as cup of tea time. Go out and make yourself a cuppa. In this type of situation, I think after a few more shots, maybe the players will just make eye contact and say, look, this is going nowhere. Because as Neil said, with that red in the balk end, the one adjacent to the right middle, there's no path back to balk. And it'd be a very loose safety to leave any sort of pot on. Neither player looking at one another at the moment.
Yeah, Stuart's got the advantage at the moment. He's maintained really good cue ball controlling, making sure that the white is always on the black cushion. But Jack has an opportunity here to get it back onto the cushion himself. Hasn't quite managed to do that, so I don't think this safety exchange will go for much longer because the reds are starting to naturally open up, and I think Stuart will be quite aggressive with this next one to open up the reds and get a really good cue ball to try and maybe force Jack into, you know, going for a tough red into the middle or to find a containing safety shot. So Stuart definitely got the upper hand at the moment here.
No player likes these sort of situations because it does boil down to someone taking a risk, and if he knocks a pot in, then the reds are open, good scoring chance. Another opportunity for Jack just to trickle into the reds. But as Neil said, they're loose enough now, so I don't think a re-rack is on the cards.
No problem.
Having to get the spider out makes it a little bit awkward to control this. I don't think he'll take the risk in trying to actually get the snooker behind the black. It's up to him, of course, how he sees it. He has tried to do that, and he's made a bit of a mess of it. A possible pot up into the green pocket here for Jack. It's done across for the black, but there is risk attached to the shot. Just depends how he feels. You can excuse him, of course, for just playing a safety shot and screwing the white back to the top cushion there.
Yeah, it's decision time. If it was straighter, I don't think he'd even think about it. But it's a tough pot. Plenty of reward should it go in. Taking it on.
One.
And got it. And perfect on the black.
Yeah, that was a brilliant shot, fully committed as well. He wasn't worried about what he was leaving because he was leaving reds either into the yellow pocket or into the middle. As we often see with these safety exchanges, that's the ball's gradually opening and opening. Whoever does pot the first red usually does go on to win the frame. And it's always nice as well because you've got a few reds up in bulk, so even if you land wrong side of the blue, you can go about making the break however you like. And every player after a safety exchange, you always never really settle into a break until you've had maybe 4 or 5 shots. Then you start to get into your flow and feel much more comfortable. And the fact that Jack can go about making this break however he sees fit. Yeah, he played that really nicely as well.
Well, he looked to see if the left hand one of those two would pot. Certainly the right hand side one does. So he's playing for the red to the right middle.
16.
So many times people ask you how many shots in advance do you look. Well, in these situations, no cannons required. Just leave yourself a nice angle on the next ball, be it red or colour.
22.
Never been in front in the match. This is the chance to do that.
$28. $29. $34.
Played on his red. As I say, I don't think the left hand one of the two pots. I may be wrong. He'll know from straight behind. You'd rather play the left hand one. Well, that's the one he's playing. He thinks it goes. And he was right.
35.
A better angle on this black though was needed. He'll be disappointed with that. Didn't want to be straight. Although that other red goes, but he's got to be so precise with his positional shot. Doesn't want to overrun it. And doesn't particularly want to be short. And that's what he is.
42.
Pots on, but cue ball, no guarantee to where it's going to finish up. This shot now could be the key to this frame. Tough pot. Can he get position on a colour? Struggled in, but in it went. I don't think that was already played on. It was a bonus to have it.
Yeah, and we could see before he played that red, he was doing a few little practice swings with his arm there, just sort of giving off signs that he's still quite tense in his cueing arm. But that was a really good recovery pot, though, because he certainly didn't play for that red, and no player likes
48.
having to sort of like play a blind pocket red where you got to like softly hold it for the colour as well. So, but he's back in A1 position now and will be feeling really good. Just seeing if some of these reds go, if he does have to make another cannon. If not, he can just go back up to bulk and pick off those last few reds up there as well.
Yeah, and those reds up in the bulk end would be enough to secure the frame. No, I can't believe he's looking at a plant. He's got a straightforward red he can play. Well, he's playing it, but plants can be missed. But not that one. And he's landed nicely on the blue to go down to the bulk end for those open reds. This blue will put him 54 points in front. So those reds in the bulk end, more than enough to take into Snooker's required.
$54. $55.
And of course, if he wins this frame, I think it'll be the first time he'll take the lead in the match, which will be a nice little mental boost for him. He'll be aware of that as well, as will Stuart. He's very good, Jack, at sort of just hanging around. He's got like crocodile blood. He just keeps hanging around, and he's a fantastic player. He just plays at the same tempo all the time, which is actually really impressive. He never feels rushed, or he never really plays slower or quicker than how he does, and so he's
59.
in complete control of his game out there at the moment. He's certainly starting to look the stronger of the two players too, because the last frame he made a really good break to win.
60.
He's won the safety exchange here and he's on 60, so he's looking to win another frame in one visit, which players always look to do. It's always like the one visits when your opponent has 0 points on the scoreboard, which you really like to do. You like to keep that momentum going, like the points without reply.
Just a little bit shorter pace, but he only needs the
67.
red. This red to go 68 points in front with just 59 remaining. Looking at the red in the bulk end, he won't be playing that. Well, if he does, I'll go up the foot of our stairs. This is the one. Just make certain of the red. Just struggled in, but in it went. Now at the 3 snookers required stage, and the black will keep Stuart Bingham in his seat.
Jack Jones,
Stuart's
68.
coming back to the table. 68 points behind, 59 remaining. I suppose there's a slim chance. Disappointed Jack will be to have missed that black.
I do always think if the colours are in a good position, if there's a red next to a colour, that if you need like one free ball snooker, I think sometimes it's worthwhile coming back to the table. And I guess the fact that Stuart hasn't potted a ball for over 24 minutes as well, so I certainly agree with the decision to come back to the table. Usually you'd probably concede the frame and get on for the next one, but it's not a bad idea to just pot a few balls here and get the arm going again. Of course, Sean Murphy, if he was the rules writer of the game, John, he says that we should just concede the frame as soon as one snooker is required.
Yeah, well, no one's going to agree to that. But yeah, I know you can have a game that's over and then all of a sudden someone's looking for a couple of snookers. You can add another 20 minutes to the frame time. Anyway, that'll be enough.
Stuart Bingham.
It's not etiquette to concede,
Frank
but
conceded.
Stuart's looked at
Jack
Jack
Jones
and
wins the
said, it's yours if you want it. And of course he'll say yes. So for the first time in a match, Jack Jones is in front, 7-6.
35 in order to get the title won. So this is an extremely long hole. It's a big ask for all of our free qualifiers this time.
It is. But when you get to this stage, I mean, honestly, both players might not have expected being in the one table. The adrenaline will carry them through quite easily.
I'm sure it's charging around Jack Jones's body right now. He's in front.
Yeah, 3 more frames to be played in this session. Can Jack Jones push on? Pretty good. As you can see, Stuart can get through to this red. Can't get through to pot it. It'll be a thin one if he's going to try and get back to bog, unless he can hit the main cluster. Obviously can. They played it nicely. As I've said many times, you catch the ball colour full in the face, leave the cue ball on the baulk line. I mean, this red, well, we're just looking from behind the pocket. Not a good potting angle, is it? You know, it's not as if you could play it and go back up the table, because it looks like it's going into the other red, so it's risky if he's going to take it on. Well, he thought there was a line back to the baulk end, but by missing the red by that much, the red was running loose, and he's left it.
I mean, that looks so difficult. He was partially hampered by the brown there as well, so that would have been hard enough as it is if it wasn't in the way, and hit it very hard. He would have been better off just trying to stun it in nicely and hold for the black. But he's just gifted Jack a chance here now, and the balls are in a really good position. They are open, some are blocking each other a little bit, so if Jack can play like a really good positional shot here to land on a red, he'll be in a great position. I think he needs to have found the gap, as I don't know if he has.
6.
No. It's a poor shot. Sorry to be critical, but I mean, the one red he had to get on there was the one to the right of the black. It'd have cleared the black for both corner pockets. And from behind the pocket, that's going down that side, that's the only red he could play on. So that was an excellent opportunity. And all he's going to get from it is 6 points.
Jack Jones 6.
Not the best safety from Stuart. And, well, this frame is getting a little bit messy now. And it's all because of the poor safety shots. Don't think he can play the pot on this. No, just the safety. And it's a good one. And that's an excellent reply from Stuart. And playing safe, or trying to get back to balk, which is, well, you can get back to balk here, but because the yellow and brown are not on the spots, there's not much chance of getting your opponent in too much trouble here. So you've got to be careful you don't knock one over the corner pocket, because you're very unlikely to get cover. And all things considered, that was a good shot.
I wonder if the angle's there to just swing the white around and try and get in behind the brown there. He attempted that, and now he's hit the green off the spot, John. Now there's no cover for any of the reds.
Yep. No hiding place. This is a good line, just not hard enough. If it had been, he could have been behind the green there, but nevertheless, decent cue ball. Well, Stuart's left a pot on here. 3 in from the right. Well, he's decided to play safe.
of course, the longer this safety exchange goes on, the harder it will be to knock in a good long pot to get in. So the sort of like the 7, 8 out of 10 long pots you'd normally be comfortable with potting all of a sudden become more of a coin toss, really. So both players will be trying to look for like a shot to nothing that they can play rather than have to fully commit to pot or red. The problem is with the way that the colours are situated, it's not completely straightforward to land on a colour.
Well, there's a red adjacent to it. You can't get through to it. Can't get through to it. But got to cover the path to it. Well, that safety shot has knocked it away from the corner. Well, there you go, in the 8th minute, the last pot. And it looks like Stuart was the first one to blink as he left the red. Even if it passed the green, you'd have to say no.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting at. That shot becomes just so much harder when you've gone so long without really attempting a pot. He would have been better off trying to play a bit more of an aggressive safety shot there, because as we can see now, the reds are starting to surround the black, and
Seems a long time ago now, doesn't it, when Jack had the first chance. The red that he played on to the right of the black, and he'd have made the black available into both corners. And since then, well, in all honesty, they've made a right mess of the table, haven't they?
yeah, Jack's sort of leaning forward in his chair there as well. I think even he is maybe a little.
You think that's the same?
Doing the reback, this is really good actually from both players.
You think that's the same, right?
The safety's going nowhere, and even if someone pots a red, the chance is not going to be very good. So, great decision from both of them.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen a re-rack when all the balls have been like that. It's usually when they tip-tap in, but well done both players. They're here to entertain, and that was anything but. Yeah, it was Jack who was the first one, but you noticed the body language, Neil, didn't you? He was sat there, and as a player, you don't want to get embroiled in a frame like that.
No, that's right. But Jack is very good in those types of frames, so that's actually a really good sign for him that he was actually willing to go with the re-rack, because you'd have to say that that type of frame suits Jack a little bit more, but the fact he was willing to sort of like get on with it as well was a really good sign. Just unfortunate from his point of view. He had a really good chance to get in early and establish, an 8-6 lead if he was to get in amongst the reds there. So yeah, but yeah, still well done to both players for getting on with it and starting a new frame.
Thank you, Stuart Bingham, to break.
Decent break off. Not left any pot on. Just be a containing safety shot this for Jack. Well, he sent it up probably a little bit further than he would have liked. Another couple of rolls. If that red had got near the baulk line, I think Stuart might have been tempted, but doesn't like it. Well, he's trying to cover that red in the baulk end. Is there a gap? There is. Yeah, nice shot from Stuart. Jack will be thinking, well, that's a little bit fortunate because he's trying to get the cue ball to the baulk cushion. And if it had done, it wouldn't have been a snooker. But easy hit. Judged it nicely. Now this red may tempt Jack. You don't mind taking these reds on because in your mind you think, well, if I miss it, the only red I can leave is the one I'm playing. So I can fully commit. The only red he could leave was the one he's playing, but it's run safe, I think. I don't think Stuart can get past the black. The dreaded bump. What's he left? Not a lot. Well, great pot from Stuart. Terrific pot. And he's got a lovely angle on the green. I'm looking at the reds. I can't see. Maybe there's one available. Maybe there's one loose red, but green it is. Side cushion into the pack with pace. He may have a red to the left middle.
He's very unlucky there. He hit the absolute perfect part of the pack, and now this is a really horrible shot. Not only bridging over a few reds, but also it's a semi-blind pocket shot. Players hate these. Great shot. His heart would have skipped a bit there, that's for sure. He wouldn't have been able to know if it was going in or not, but we had some idea.
Yeah, thank goodness for gravity.
Come on. 11.
Played that really well, really well. Maced on down now for the red that's occupying the black spot. The black is very awkward though as well. It's quite close to the cushion, so important he lands really nicely on this red. Oh, he's gone in. Oh no, he did try to go into them, but I don't think that was actually the right time to do that because the angle, he was very thick on the red, but he's smiling here because I think he's actually landed on the red in the gap.
Cue ball, cue ball!
Stuart Bingham, 17.
And he knew as soon
Jack
as he
Jones,
hit it and got the kiss off the
4.
second red, it was heading towards that middle pocket. Lucky to be on the red. Not saying unlucky to going off. I always say those pockets are always in the same place.
Yeah, and at the start of the session, he had his shot selection absolutely spot on in terms of the break building and the patterns of play in the order to go about it. But the last couple of frames, he's almost looked a little bit rushed into the decisions to get the balls open, when to do it. And that was an example a few shots ago off that blue. That it was never the time to go into the reds there. It was always to play on the red near the black spot. And now we find ourselves in another familiar position where someone's broken down and had to play safe. And now we've got a safety exchange now. Jack's got Stuart in quite a bit of trouble here. Just trying to nestle into these reds, dead weight. Now, unless he's obviously putting a red near one of the corner pockets here, he has to play the aggressive safety shot here. The cue ball's in a good position for him to get a lot of purchase on it, to put the white wherever he wants. He needs to play a nice thick safety here. He has to open the reds and make Jack Jones's long potting accountable.
Well, he's well short of pace. Not really put Jack under any pressure here, but will he be tempted by this red? Well, he's building himself up, which tells you he's probably playing the pot. Just the pace kept it out, you feel. Where's the red going? It's going over the middle. Thought the only red he could leave was the one he was playing. And don't you just know it? It's the one he's left.
1.
Yeah, and it's basically worked out now what you said, open the reds and test Jack's long potting.
Seven.
Yeah, and that's what it's about. The safety shot wasn't great from Stuart. It actually tempted Jack into it. But it just made him accountable. The fact that if Jack were to miss it, then the reds are all open. And that's what for good chances to get some flow going, to get in the balls and score heavily. It's his strength. And the reds are in a pretty nice situation here. He's got a 26-point lead, so he's got another few reds, few pinks that are pretty straightforward before he has to think about maybe one of these awkward ones, the little cluster of 4 that are grouped together. None of them really pop, but he doesn't really have to worry about that for now. He will be thinking ahead of it, but he does have 3 or 4 easy reds and pinks to come with it before he has to get to that.
Yeah, as we said at the start of the play this afternoon, they played the first session, all square. This is the second session, then the 2 vital sessions when the match is played to a finish tomorrow. And basically when you come out to play these sessions, you think, well, if I can win the session, you know, then you'd be 5-3 or something like that. But it seems that both players have been guilty that when they've dropped a frame behind, they're trying to make something happen. They sort of, I wouldn't say panic stations have set in, but they pushed the bolt out. Jack Jones did it in the first half of the session when he played a plant that wasn't the right shot. And then Stuart
28.
played that cannon, which didn't seem the one to play. And from being in perfect position now, he's not played the best positional shot there. It'll frustrate him if he falls down on this pink.
That's a great recovery shot. The positional shot to the pink was very straightforward off the red bed. That was a brilliant shot to hold that for this red. You'd love to have some... Ooh.
35.
I was about to say that you'd love to have some kind of angle to go into these 4 reds or to play for the most far left-hand side one. Very relieved to see that drop in though.
Yeah, and well, I've been here all tournament, and before they got down to this one table situation, I could not see that red dropping. He caught the near jaw, they didn't go in, simple as.
Yeah, and I was speaking to Chris
42.
Henry before the match actually, just asking what Stuart thought of that left-hand side table that side of the draw was using, because it definitely appeared to be a bit tighter than the one on the other side of the draw. And I think for the semi-finals, what they do here at the Crucible is that they pick the table for the semi-final, the one that has been playing the better out of the 2, or possibly where the more breaks have been going in, because it would suggest that it's perhaps playing a bit
47.
better. So that may be the reason why some of the balls we are seeing just clip the jaws and are dropping in. Why that might be the case. So it'd be interesting to find out, maybe from the table fitter or something, if that is the table that is used. But
48.
generally, I think from the semi-finals is that, you know, it is always a very nice cloth that goes on as well. So the balls are going to be a bit more receptive to going in. But yeah, regardless, it looks like Stuart's getting back on level terms here, and he'll be very happy with that.
Yeah, before the colour, he's 61 points in front with just 51 remaining. And he knows if he pots this pink, that'll keep Jack in his seat. No.
Stuart Bingham, 48.
So 61 points of difference, 51 remaining. 3 4-point snookers required. trying to get on the pink to keep it at 3. Don't want to be covered on the pink by the yellow. If it is, he's in trouble and he may concede.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, good pots, but it's now 3 4-point snookers to tie.
6. Seven.
Yeah, so the producers just told us that they did in fact keep the number 1 table, so the right-hand side table, which was the top half of the draw for the semi-final. So it would explain why some balls are maybe going in that weren't in the bottom half. I mean, we're talking not even a millimetre in terms of the cut of the pocket, so the table fitters do an amazing job. It's just that it's impossible to have 2 tables play exactly the same.
14. Jack Jones 14.
Well, you've got connections in high places, Neil. I was always told it was a secret, closely guarded which table they used.
And this is what I always find as a player, especially if you're playing someone who's really good at getting snookers, like like a Mark Selby, John Higgins, Ken Doherty. I always find the frame ball is the one after the frame ball because they're so good at getting snookers. The frame can go for another 15, 20 minutes and knock you out of your rhythm and create tension that you just don't want. You want to get on with the next frame. You don't want to have a few tricky escapes here or there, and a little bit of panic can set in.
Well, if Stuart doesn't hit this, then he'll obviously concede. No, sorry, I mean, if he doesn't hit it. Good effort, but playing it like that, because he didn't want to leave a free ball. He's left a nice, easy opportunity for Jack. So there's one of the snookers. Now he's looking for another 2. Remember, 2 4-point snookers to tie. Another cracking snooker from Jack Jones.
It's amazing how often that one snooker can lead into another because Stuart won't want to hit this one with any pace either because of the threat of the 3 ball. So he's going to be playing this at a medium pace to just drop on the red, and then should he miss coming out of this snooker, Jack will have a good chance to stun him behind the black. So this is what I mean, where it's just so important to finish the frames off. Even if your opponent needs 2 or 3 snookers, you really do need to make sure that they just won't come back to the table.
He's hitting the black. He's hit the black.
Jack Jones 7.
Still wants 1 snooker, but now 1 snooker to win. 36 points of difference, 35 remaining. It's all the hard work one. Maybe he might just cover the potting angle to this red. Stuart will be quite relieved he's not snookered. But we're now in a situation, if Jack did get a chance, he could pot the red, pot the pink even, and try and get a snooker on the yellow. The fact that Stuart's looking to come baulk cushion first tells me he can't get to the potting angle. Think about trying to get this cue ball in behind the pink, but he's got to be careful he doesn't push this red onto green or brown. Oh, well, he just missed the green, and that's a very good shot. Not too difficult to hit, I would suggest, because there is a one cushion escape. Well, can he pot this red? Well, I know we always say, Neil, keep the last red on the table, free ball, but he doesn't need a free ball, does he? If he can pot this red, get on the pink, one snooker on the yellow.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes snookering much easier as well when you have a nice line of the blue, pink and black there as well. You definitely play to pot the last red here. Be careful not to play a push shot though. Ooh, that looked interesting.
1.
Stuart is also in the chair looking at Marcel thinking, was that not a push shot? Ooh, that's close. It's so hard for the referees to call those. And the players as well. Jack wouldn't have known himself either. It's very, very tough because you're raising the butt of the cue so high and you're always going to hear multiple noises no matter what happens.
And just to give you the definition of the push shot, it's when the tip of the cue, it's the cue ball, and the cue ball,
7.
it's the object ball, all at the same time. It was close, wasn't it?
9.
Yeah, it was incredibly close. Even from that angle there, that slow-mo, it's still pretty inconclusive. You probably have to take quite a few goes at looking at that, but great chance to get him behind the brown here, and he has.
Check chance 9.
And if you can't get through to the top cushion, this is a really, really tough shot. You'll have to come off probably the side cushion, both side cushions here. It's quite a big target because I don't think the white will go around the back of the green. That's a great shot. Played that really well. You'll certainly breathe a sigh of relief on that one, but the pressure is certainly still on.
With the cue ball being so close to the side cushion, it's going to be difficult for Jack to lay a snooker here. So the priority, get the green safe. I don't suggest potting it because then that's one less ball to snooker behind. Well, he decided to pot it, but instead of having 4 snookering balls, now he's only got 3. Big difference.
Check chance 3.
If it creeps past the black, this is perfect. Oh, we just flicked it. So probably the black will be the target to get in behind. You just got to be careful here. You don't get a double kiss. He avoided the double kiss, but he's not got the brown safe. Well, it's not an easy pot, but Stuart will take it on. This will clinch the frame. No. The only thing is that we'll give Stuart a little bit of light relief. When Jack played his last attempt to get behind the black, he nudged the black towards the top cushion, so not going to be easy to get in behind the black now. He's trying. He's got it with the pink.
Yeah, and he has to come off 2 cushions here. He can't risk swerving around and trying to come off 1 cushion. He should hit the brown, but there's a lot of pressure on it. Yeah, great shot. So the pressure building and building on Stuart. And the frame should have been over maybe 10 minutes or so ago. So it's important that Jack just really keeps this nice and tight now.
Oh, what a great effort that was. There's one thing clear to me, Neil. He knows his way around a snooker table to Jack Jones, doesn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. I found out firsthand just how good he is at, you know, these little safety exchanges. He's a very, very clever player. Obviously coming from Wales, and it seems to me that all the Welsh players, they're all very, very astute tactically.
Well, we've been saying a hotbed of snooker. You know, we list the world champions that come from there, but a very strong league as well. The amateur game. And great tradition. Once again, the problem is with that shot, as I said, if you can't get the snooker, make certain you get the object ball safe, and he hasn't. So, gave himself a chance there, but I don't think he'll get another one.
Four.
So, Stuart Bingham always looked like winning this frame, but he got a little bit anxious, I'm sure.
9.
So once again, back to all square.
$15.
Just gives a demonstration of his positional play. They don't win when you hit them that hard, Stu. Anyway,
15 and the frame, Stuart Bingham.
he's got the frame. We're all square again. 7 apiece.
And for all the world, it looked like Jack Jones was going to catch Stuart Bingham there because of some really cute play from him, Ken, wasn't it?
Yeah, he is. He's a very canny player, very astute with the angles, and it's one of the reasons why the debate of not playing out for snookers should just go away. And particularly, I can understand maybe if you need 4 or 5 snookers, yeah. But certainly when you're within range, and 3 snookers is enough because you get also the possibility of the free ball. So that was a really good chance. And he laid some wonderful snookers there. He had Stuart under real pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, that is all sapping the energy when the frame should have been won and put to bed by Stuart earlier on. And it all takes its toll, surely.
It does. You just know that if you've not potted the next ball, you know what you're in for. I mean, we don't like it in here. We're saying, oh, why did he not pot the extra ball? When you're sat in the chair, Stuart, you think, oh, if I'd have just potted that extra ball. And you sort of win the frame and your concentration just disappear. And then you get back to it and you think, oh, no, I should have potted it. But when someone needs 3, 4 snookers and they get the first 2, it really puts pressure on you. It's a horrible situation that Stuart Bingham was in there. But as JV said, Jack knows his way around the table.
He does, actually. And Neil was playing you a compliment by saying that frame ball is not frame ball until the one after frame ball where he's concerned. And, of course, you were concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. It just keeps your opponent in the chair. But the most important thing in that respect is that it saves your energy. You don't want to be out there burning energy. This is such a long match. OK, they're not playing 2 sessions today. Tomorrow they will be. He doesn't want any frames like that and burning unnecessary sort of energy and sort of, the nerves as well. He doesn't want that. You've got to kill off the frames early.
Tomorrow's the big day. As I say, you'd love to have a lead, but these semi-finals take so long. It's 3 days. The first sort of day, you think, because these guys are always playing 1 session per day, which is nothing really. And you think, where's the end of this match coming? But tomorrow is a realisation. They'll come out tomorrow and they know the result's going to come tomorrow. And it'll be really interesting to see who, takes this match by the scruff of the neck.
Absolutely, and it's fascinating because this is the semi-final at the bottom of the draw, as it were, and it always produces the 2 sessions on this Saturday, whereas the first one is the 2 sessions today, which we'll be seeing, of course, tonight with Dave Gowett and Kyron Wilson. So a long way to go, and once again, we're all square.
Yeah, it couldn't be tighter. Just avoided the double kiss. It was a sort of after you.
Yeah, he would have been twitching a little bit there. He would have thought, ooh. Then he's like, phew, got it safe. But after that frame, though, it'd be interesting to see whether or not someone tries to get in through a long pot and how close they get to it. Because usually I find after these long, drawn-out frames that, you're not really in the same rhythm and it can be a lot harder to pot a long red to get in, create a chance. So.
Well, he got that too thick. He's left the red on. And Jack can just cue past the green, I think. Yeah, he can just get to the middle of the cue ball. He'd rather the green not be there, but as I say, if he can get through to the middle of the cue ball, which he can, it's a chance.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. A mid-range red like that is usually sort of bread and butter for someone like Jack, and just that frame, it just can make it much harder to pot those balls to get in, and, well, he's a bit unlucky where the red's gone, right over the hole, and Stuart will try and hold this for the black.
1.
Didn't get as much side on it as what he would like, maybe potted the red a little bit too thick, so this will need a good pot. No, he's overcut it.
Stuart Bingham. 1.
I just think the way he played that there, it's like he almost tried to just kind of cash the black in and, hope he'll just get a little bit of a cannon, where maybe should have dug down on the cue ball a bit and played a more positive shot and a cannon into the reds.
Yeah, Anyway, he's obviously on this red, so tight under the cushion. Doesn't make it any easier. No. Well, that's just confirming what you said, Neil. That last frame has just taken the edge off both players. Yeah, that type of shot, always difficult. Funny enough, it's easier when they're straight, because you just cue it straight, but when there's a slight angle... Now, what's Stuart? He has a possible red to the left middle, but it's too dangerous, you would have thought, to take on, even though there'd be the bonus of the black being over the corner. These last two frames now are getting very important. Can someone have a lead going into tomorrow?
No, it's a really poor shot, that. I mean, obviously he's not trying to hit the green there. He tried to be pretty aggressive with that safety shot and screw the white in behind the green. May have left. No, he's not left a shot to nothing on here, I don't think. Jack's just come round to see whether the reds would plant on and maybe come across the table. Again, not the best safety shot either here, and this red is very, very thin. Not too sure Stuart would be tempted, and he's come around to have a look at the angle now. This is very thin, and also the green being on the cushion there makes him slightly hampered, bridging over.
Well, how thick did he hit that? Well, he's not got away with this. He's not left a straightforward red. That was nowhere near the jaws.
Can I just make you aware that those sweets are making down here on the arena floor? Just put them down.
So, as I say, not a straightforward pot. But what makes it easy, or easier, is the fact that the black's over the corner. So you don't have to do anything with the cue ball. Just pot the ball. Yes, Jack will be thinking, well, I could have been left with an easier pot than this, but it is what it is. Pot this, and what a chance it will be. Good shot, Tom.
When you haven't had a good chance for quite a while, this is exactly what you want when you come to the table, is a few easy reds followed by blacks. Get the arm going.
9.
Important to concentrate on positional play here to make sure you don't leave yourself anything missable. We've seen already at the start of the frame Stuart missing that black, missing that red, long red trying to get in. All as a consequence of that frame that just happened. You know, maybe that nervous energy. It's never helpful. I'm convinced if the previous frame was finished 10 minutes earlier, then he probably would have missed either of those pots.
That's worked out perfectly.
16. $17. $24. $25.
Now, a few of these reds are just covering one another. He's not got the angle to play for the red along the top cushion. So it's just a precise positional shot he needs. It's sort of that situation. If you pot one, you'll clear the path for another. But as Neil said, you just need to get good position. Oh, has he stunned? No, he's understunned it. Has it just gone far enough?
32.
Scratch of the head. Can he see enough of this red? He played for the red immediately to the right of the pink. Maybe just on it, but only just. Yes, just. Well, this game's, as we say on many occasions, all about fractions. They just favoured him there. Yeah, 32 points the lead. Think there's any value playing little cannons of those three reds just below the pink, Neil?
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. Looks harder to try and find a gap somewhere to play on a red. I mean, again, it's very hard to go wrong as long as he makes contact with both reds. You'll have a choice of multiple reds, one into the middle, one into the corner.
Yeah, I think that's the shot.
All he has to do is just not slip off the right-hand side of the pack.
Mm.
Oh, like that. He got a bit lucky, though.
Yeah, just exactly as you said. Didn't get them into those reds, but... Well, he's got maybe a tricky red. I'm always amazed how proficient the players are into the middle pockets. He's playing this one in the corner, going up for a bolt colour. Any colour will be happy with, yes. No problem with the red. Has he got a nice angle? Just about got it on the yellow. So a couple of scares he's had in this visit, but good positional shot here. That's okay.
41.
Back on track.
Yeah, and he'll be quite relaxed now as well. There's the clearance is very unlikely with those two reds kind of covering each other on the top black cushion there, and the red on the left-hand side is quite awkward for a right-hander. So the green being off its spot as well on the bolt cushion, so he'll be pretty comfortable knowing that the counter clearance is very unlikely, and that always certainly helps.
42.
Just keeps losing the cue ball.
49.
Presume he wanted to run past this red. He didn't. 48 points the lead. Still a possible 83 remaining. He's looking for 3 more reds. Now is he going to come in and out of the balk? He is. Not making it easy, but keeps coming up with the recovery shot. And he's played that nicely, so surely
54.
he'll seal the deal now.
55.
Well, he's played it nicely. He would have been a little bit worried if it had another couple of rolls, but
63.
he's done the damage now. So there's pink and one more red, you would think, would keep Stuart in his seat. He wouldn't come back playing for snookers, as we saw in the last frame. It's imperative. Stuart there, arms
69.
folded. He's going to fall one behind. The red's not there.
Jack Jones, 69.
Stuart thinking about it.
Frame conceded. Frame.
He's
Jack Jones.
conceded. 3 snookers was required. He thought too big an ask, so Jack Jones goes 1 frame in front with 1 to play in this session.
Damage limitation. If he can get out at this level, Stuart would be absolutely delighted.
And he'll know that because this is his 3rd Crucible semi-final, and it's the first time, of course, that Jack has made this long, best of 33 frames journey. He's coping very well, though, isn't he? Back we go. Last
Final
session.
frame of this session, Stuart Bingham to break.
Tomorrow there will be a possible 17 frames to be played. So we're basically not quite halfway there in this match, but this, you feel, is a big frame. Just missed it, double kiss, but nothing left.
Good length of the cue ball, but Stuart did have an opportunity there to play a thick safety with backspin and screw into the side cushion and then get in behind the green. So he hasn't put Jack in too much trouble here. And this is the line that Jack was looking for in behind the green. He's got to play something positive here, Stuart. You can't just play a thin safety. He needs to make Jack make something.
Just round. Just looking at the stats, you know, Neil. Pot success, yeah. Stuart up to 89%, it's 86% for Jack Jones. So you think, well, he'd be on the worst end of the scoreline. But then when you look at the safety success, it favours Jack. And the long pot success, which is another one, and as Stephen was saying in the studio, he's ahead in that stat. So those two probably offset the one that he's behind on and gives us the scoreline that we have. Meanwhile, Stuart having a look. Can he get through to this red? You see, from that shot, it looks like the red's right over the pocket, but as you can see, it isn't. Oh, he won't be too displeased with that. Is there a gap? No.
Yeah, there's a lot of trouble here, Jack. Yeah, just going back to the pot success and the safety success. One of the reasons why Stuart's long pot success is so low is because quite often one of the pots he's attempting has come from the back of like a very long safety exchange where 10, 15 minutes of safety, you know, like I said earlier in the match, that the 7 or 8 out of 10s, the shots are nothings, they're so much easier when you're playing like a full flowing game. I can think of probably half of them already probably wouldn't have missed against Ronnie because they were quick exchanges with the safety and both players playing thick safeties. Those long pots, they become so much harder to pot after the long exchanges of safety. And the average frame time there, over 21 minutes. I think the other semi-final, I think they're averaging around 14, 15 frames. 14, 15 minutes per frame. So we'll take it out of both players here because they've got to play the double session tomorrow.
Can only assume going this way he's trying to run into those 2 reds near the top cushion. I'm not certain this is on, you know. I'm not certain. Well, he may be playing for the little cluster of 3 below the pink.
Stuart Bingham 4.
But he was in a spot of bother there, no doubt. Missed all, but if Stuart's got any kind of pot on, he won't have the balls put back. He's got one to the far right corner, but he thinks this one to this left corner is a bit easier. And as you can see, it's the left-hand one of the 2 that pots, the right-hand one doesn't. No, no, much too thick. That was a disappointing attempt there from Stuart. He played in the last frame a thin clip on a red and hit it much too full. So here's a chance for Jack Jones to press on. I'm not saying he's got the red to go out here, but that'll give him inspiration, if you like, to play a good safety, if he can, or a good pot. Well, Stuart made a bad mistake. He's not being punished, and isn't amazing. He's coming back to the table. Nice, easy starter. So the bad miss can be erased from the memory bank immediately.
Yeah, and both players pretty much throughout the whole match haven't really had to pot really good balls to get in. It's come from, mistakes and easy starters. So they're both just taking in turns of, with the unforced errors, to leave each other in. And again, it comes as a consequence of such long safety exchanges. These pots are so much harder.
Six.
Well, I'm certain his intention wasn't to get that close to the brown. And I don't think he's got the best of angles on this red. He didn't.
7.
That's not good.
Stuart Bingham 7.
That was a really nice touch there, actually. He would have been so disappointed to land where he did. Jack's playing the 2-cushion escape here with a lot of right-hand side. As is the case, you always sort of aim onto the side of caution to miss the red, get it like a practice line before you sort of slightly adjust up the cushion Just a little bit of adjustment required. I'm not the biggest fan of this scenario because you can obviously hit a red whenever you want, but ball or ball in hand to stop a player doing this. So again, he's got a little bit closer, so he's had another practice go.
Stuart Bingham 4.
So you'll remember where he hit on this cushion,
Back you.
and then you'll make a slight adjustment again. And I fully expect him to clip off this red now.
It's getting
Foul
closer.
and a miss.
I
Stuart
always
Bingham,
wonder, and
Yeah.
you know, we always say, how will these 4-point penalties come into play at the end of a frame? Could be the difference between needing a clearance to just needing up to the pink or something. All these points are counting, and well, no.
Foul and a miss. Stuart Bingham 4. Yeah. Thank you. Settle down, please.
Almost like he has to start from scratch again here, figure out the angle again. Because after the first couple I expected him to hit the red, but he seemed to get a little bit further away. Oh, that was really close.
Foul and a miss.
It is a strange rule in the game, though. I
Stuart
think there's
Bingham,
quite a few players who
Yep.
have been talking about how many times you should be allowed to just keep sort of adjusting the line, because Jack is completely fine giving away 50 points here in fouls as long as he doesn't leave a red on. And he can quite clearly hit one of the reds whenever he wants. So interesting discussions going on within the game at the moment.
Foul and a miss.
What would you think, John?
Stuart Bingham 4.
Would you think that maybe if you get 3 attempts at trying to play one of these escapes and then maybe your opponent does get ball in hand in the D or something like that?
Well, it's a harsh penalty, isn't it? I think there's enough penalties with the miss rule, to be honest with you. I'm not a great lover of that. But there is skill to this.
Miss.
I know what you're saying.
Stuart Bingham 4.
I can't believe he's not hit it yet. So this is the 8th attempt coming up.
Just settle down a bit, please. Yeah. Yeah.
But as Neil said, the last thing you want to do is hit the red thick and leave it at this half of the table. And that's what he's done. He's hit it thick. So, not only did he give away lots and lots of points, he's left Stuart with a comfortable starter. It's getting a bit tight out there, Neil.
Yeah, it is. And I was just about to say, actually, that it's one of those mid-distance pots where you've got to, like, screw up the table for the blue. You would have liked something where he was just stunning it in for the pink or stunning on and off a cushion. He had to kind of like a punch screw shot and requires really good timing. And I guess because of so many attempts and, you know, again, with the safety exchanges, those kind of pots are just so much harder than what they would have been if it was like a fluent game. You know? This is a really tough shot as well with the rest. Yeah, very tough. It's sort of catching, isn't it, John? Both players, they just can't seem to pot the difficult shot to get in.
No, and such an important frame. Is Jack a 2-frame advantage, or can Stuart pull level? This shot is no gimme. Good straight cueing required. And got solid pot. Now, what sort of an angle has he got on this pink? He doesn't want to be too straight. There's a couple of reds on the left-hand side of the top. Oh, he's getting down quick. He must be perfect. And he is.
Seven. Eight. $14. $15.
The fact he's got such a lead is very handy in this situation. It can be quite surprising though when your opponent has given you a lot of foul and misses. You can get to sort of 60 or 70 points and you're still nowhere near to win the frame. We saw it earlier in the week with Stuart and Jack Lazowski. I think he won the frame scoring 80 odd points and Jack scored 70 odd points himself. So clearly the plant goes. This might free up another one of the
21.
The reds that are just blocking the pocket, so looks like he's screwing this on and off the cushion for the blue here. And it has
22.
released a couple of reds. Needs to land right side though. That's a bad shot from Stuart. He knows he could he knows he could have over screwed that shot. He's actually a really nasty wrong side of the blue as well. He can't just go in and out of balk, swing it around. He has to play it with topspin and really power it. And there aren't that many reds he can play on either, so he'll need to hit this very hard. You have to play loads of topspin. Top right hand spin. Or is he trying to force this? F1. No, I suggested, but because he was trying to hit it so hard, he lost a lot of accuracy in the strike. With it, though.
Stuart Bingham, 22.
The blue in the first session, it's probably easier than that. But when you're playing these power shots with side, beware. Because just striking the cue ball off centre, you can push it away from its intended target. Lucky not to be on a red there. So although Jack Jones, as Neil alluded to, with all those foul points, he's 61 points behind, but there's still a possible 99 remaining. So So if he did get a chance, there's a lot of points to play with.
Yeah, and when Stuart missed the blue as well, he actually brought the brown off the cushion, which would have been a really key ball later on in the frame if we were to get that far. And Stuart's now looking at a couple of safety shots here. He's even looking at the potting angle on this red. This would be really, really tough. Now, if he plays this with pace and misses it, he could free all the reds that are on the black cushion as well. I don't know what he played there. I really don't know what he played. I can't imagine he tried to pot that.
Well, I think he was just trying to contain the situation. Thought, well, I'll go for the pot, but he missed it by so far. He's left a red on for Jack. But what can you do with it? Straight. Don't think you can get out for the black there. If it was just off straight, the only thing I could think of here, you play the run through with a bit of left-hand side and try to rattle it in the jaws. But it also makes the red missable.
One.
Well, he did manage to just push it up a little bit. Well, he's done well there. Didn't think that was on.
Eight.
Yeah, it's funny that on that red because he actually had a swing at it where he tried to hit it like in golf or something. You have a bit of an air swing and you turn around to your mates and go, "Can I have that one again?" And he managed to do it. And the black was a nice shot actually. He held that really well. Nice
Nine.
cannon as well to leave himself the black or the pink. Not a great chance to clear up from here, but he will be certainly thinking about the cluster of three reds there that are close together on sort of the black cushion, how he's going to extract those and possibly land on other reds.
16.
He's looking at an angle now to land just off straight on the black and run through, and you'd have to be incredibly unlucky not to be on one of them. Worst case scenario, you would have the one that's closest to the left-hand side corner pocket as well. But he should play this cannon as early as possible. There's no point in trying to pick off other reds because he has to play the cannon eventually. Yeah, so he's definitely played the right shot there. Try and free these reds up now. He can either go into them direct or he could go on and off the top cushion. Depends how he wants to play the shot.
Well, it's gone wrong.
24.
So that wasn't right behind the shot, but the way it's turned out, I think he just needed to do something with the cue ball, and that triangle was to miss the first red. Anyway, tricky red to the left middle. Oh, tremendous pot.
25.
And you could see right behind that as well how accurate you have to be into these middle pockets. And again, he's got a good angle. I don't know if the red above the other red actually pots. We'll see after this shot here. If he can get through to the one that's on the cushion.
32.
Oh, does that pot? It's very, very close. Yeah, it does.
33.
So now this is actually developing into a pretty good chance.
Yeah. All those points he gave away, when he was trying to get out of that snooker. They're coming to haunt him now. He's made this into a very good chance, but you can see the situation of where the reds are. Two near the right-hand side cushion, these two near the top cushion. He needs precise position on practically every ball.
41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41. 41
May have overscrewed that.
48.
Yeah, he's not happy. He can't even play. He can't even play this with a little bit of side either to sort of throw the angle across. He'd be really disappointed with that because he played a couple of shots in one there. He was trying to play for, obviously, this red he's looking at now, but also the other red. It went into the middle pocket, also the corner pocket across from the table as well. So he'll be really disappointed with that.
Well, our time is up here on BBC Two. The conclusion of the frame continues on the red button and the iPlayer on the website. And Act 3 in our other semi-final starts at 7 o'clock on BBC Two. Very tense time.
Hij raakte die bal iets te goed, die zwarte. Ja, dan ga je nog eens kijken. Maar het kan niet in 100 jaar. Alleen die rode teksten bij zijn witte kan nog linksonder. Dan wit achter die rode bal door. Ja, hij wil hem in principe toch spelen. Maar doet het dan toch maar niet. Helemaal terug in het frame. Dat is hij zeker.
Jack Jones 48.
Oh, ja. Geen cross double. En ja, wat doet wit dan? Aan de grijns van Bingham te zien kan Jones bij die bal. Enkel probleem om de pothoek te kunnen aanspelen. Ja, meteen kijken naar wit. Schampt die gele. Ja, je zag het van ver aankomen.
Stuart Bingham 4.
Je zag het van ver aankomen. Deze match lijkt gedoemd om naar de 8-8 te gaan. Maar Bingham. Ja, laat weer een soortgelijke bal liggen. net niet. Nou, wit. Waar komt wit? Ja, mogen we dat eens zien? Ja, gaat kijken naar de pothoek. Dan wil dat zeggen dat hij net voldoende plaats heeft. Dit is de kans voor Bingham om frame 16 het zijne te maken.
One.
Ja, niet goed. Zeker niet goed. Of je speelt op zwart of je speelt om harder, dat je zeker bruin hebt. Ja, hij heeft bruin, maar van bruin kan hij nooit naar die rode bal toe. Tenzij helemaal rond, maar tja, kan dat wel. Ik denk nu aan bruin potten en dan safe spelen op die rode. Ja, of je kan in één keer de snoeker spelen nu. Ja, wat heeft hij nog in zijn trucendoos zitten? Groen potten, dat is een bal voor positie, maar dat gaat hij toch niet spelen nu, op dit moment. Nee. Gewoon een safety aan, groen bij de band proberen te krijgen.
One.
Meevaller voor Jones. Ja, hij kan daarbij. Ik kan hem heel dun raken. Maar zoals hij nu mikt, gaat hij wel die roze bal raken.
Fall in a miss. Stuart Bingham for. Ja.
Ja, het gaat precies echt spot moeten worden, maar het kan wel degelijk. Hij kan net contact maken met die rode. Dat lijkt er aardig op.
Yeah. Can we check that, please, Rob? I think there's the one, yeah.
Hij ligt iets verder van de band af. Het is iets makkelijker
That's
dan dit. Ja, het is wel een belangrijke. 2 centimeter van de band of tegen de band is een heel verschil.
no problem, yeah.
Ja, dat is perfect.
You have a look on this, please, Jack. Yeah, Stuart, thank you. Thanks, Rob.
Perfect opgelost, ja. Ja, een nieuwe poging. Nu heeft hij hem wel. Wat een gevecht, deze 8 frames. De volgende wedstrijd begint al over 53 minuten. Ik ga niet heel veel tijd hebben om hier de zaak leeg te maken. En de mensen die hier zitten, die ook een ticket hebben voor vanavond. En niet veel tijd meer hebben om iets te eten. Bingham. Ja, dan ga je goed mee wegkomen. Beide mannen hebben wel wat run op de ball gekregen. Het zal zich in zo'n wedstrijd wel een beetje uitvlakken.
Foul and a miss. Stuart Bingham, 5.
Ja, Bingham deze bal aannemen. Blauw ligt in de weg naar de hoek. Hij heeft alleen rood nodig nu. Naar het midden dan maar. Nee hoor. Hij duwt hem te dun. Maar hij dacht met groen en bruin tegen de band kan ik dat best wel riskeren. Oh, Jones.
Foul and a miss.
Ja, dat was een hele makkelijke.
Stuart Bingham, 4.
Die helemaal fout gaat.
Ja.
Ik ben benieuwd of hij dit goed weet herplaatsen, Marcel Eckhart. Maar één bal bewogen natuurlijk, maar ik had nu niet meteen verwacht dat Jones hier in de fout zou gaan.
We can check it, no problem. Rob.
lijkt me spot on te zijn.
Ja. Oké, thank you.
Maakt geen verschil uit voor het shot ook niet, maar gewoon
switch
puur
it
voor de
up.
gemoedsrust van deze Jack Jones. Wil je niet hebben. Achteraf praten achter je rug dat je een bal niet goed hebt laten terugspotten. Het gaat er niet lekker in bij de collega's. Bingham die nog een keer aan de pothoek gaat kijken. Nou, de camera mag hier blijven staan wat mij betreft. Altijd een mooi shot. Ja. En een goede pot. Oh, kijk naar wit. Blijft wit op tafel. Ja, daar blijft hij van gespaard, Stuart Bingham. Daar blijft hij van gespaard. 32. 2 snoekers. Ja, pot die roze bal zou ik zeggen. En dan zijn er 3 snoekers. En dan denk ik dat de strijd gestreden is. Of gaat hij gewoon zwart bij de band duwen. Ja, zwart bij de band. Wit achter bruin proberen te
Stuart
krijgen.
Bingham. 1.
Het laatste beetje energie van de dag. Gaat hij toch nog een poging wagen. Frame van 40 minuten. Weer al eentje van ruim een half uur. En ja, dat was na een respot. Dus als je dat erbij telt, is dat ook eentje van 40 minuten, 3 kwartier. Maar het belangrijkste voor Bingham is dat hij komaf lijkt te maken met dit frame. Ja, je ligt wel een mooie hoor. Los band, wit achter blauw laten liggen. Oh, lukt niet. Ja, het lag er wel. Maar nu gaat Bingham hem gewoon achter zwart plaatsen. Oh, zwakke bal, Stuart. Oh, oh, oh. Ja, zwakke bal. Dan weet je wat er gaat volgen. Of wat er zou moeten volgen. Oh, maar ook hij niet. Ook hij een zwakke. Ja. Het vet is van de soep. In deze match voorlopig. Ja, na een sessie die net 3 uur gaat duren. Net geen 3 uur duurt. Hebben ze 8 frames gespeeld. Hebben ze ook vandaag hun frames gedeeld. 4-4 is 8-8 geworden. Identiek scoren voorop van de eerste match. Ja, beide halve finales. Op 8-8. Goh, wat gaat dat vanavond en morgen nog brengen? Vanavond gaan we dus verder met de tweede halve finale. Maar nu